Unless, again, you're involved in political activity, meaning you want to run a democratic country, you want to run a country that is based on fair and free voting, you're in serious trouble if you get caught trying to find out what are the real results of an election. It's an amazing thing. Do you ever see that? They go after the people that are looking at the crime, and they do terrible things to them. But the people that committed the voter fraud and everything, they can do whatever they want to do. It's so crazy. And I hope you, as the greatest people, just as great as there is anybody in their country, I hope you watch for voter fraud. So it starts early, you know, it starts in a week. But I hope you can watch, and you're all over the place. Watch for the voter fraud, because we win. Without voter fraud, we win so easily. Hopefully we're going to win anyway, but we want to keep it down. You can keep it down just by watching, because believe it or not, they're afraid of that badge. They're afraid of you people. They're afraid of that more than anything else. They're afraid. So I hope you can watch.
Donald Trump had one of the worst starts to any day on the campaign trail we've seen today after he appeared at a press conference attacking E. Jean Carroll, potentially getting himself into more legal trouble after filing an appeal in his case. Now, I don't know why Donald Trump would want to carry the terrible momentum of that day, of that start to the day, into an even worse speech, but apparently that is what he wanted to do. He wanted to go out and rant and ramble and rave and complain and air out his grievance even more, because it's the only thing that makes him happy. But we're seeing this version of Trump that is just kind of annoyed and tired in these speeches, not really as into it as before. And no matter what version of Trump we get in a speech, it's bad, but these really disappoint his MAGA crowd, which in turn makes him even crazier. And we really saw that when he took out one of his favorite new lines in saying this.
To me, the number one thing that I get spoken to by the people, and I meet so many people, is crime. I mean, they can't believe it. They can't walk out of their apartments and buy a loaf of bread without getting mugged or rapped or shot. You look at Chicago, it's like...
It's just detachment from reality from Donald Trump at this point. You can't get bread without getting shot. What? The fear-mongering isn't even good from Donald Trump anymore. You can kind of tell that his MAGA crowd doesn't really like it. It's kind of shocking, kind of stunning to hear him say, you get shot, and they just don't even react because it's so weird from Donald Trump. Again, it's not even that he's just lost it at this point, because I don't think he ever really had it, but it is the grasping at straws that we see from his campaign in an attempt to find any message that resonates, and really none of them do, and they always just backfire, and the most perfect example of that came right here.
All of the law enforcement men and women here today, I respect you so much, I admire you, and as your president, I will always back the blue as I did. I backed the blue more than any other president.
Really? You're telling me the felon who sent a violent mob to attack our Capitol and our Capitol police officers on January 6th is the one who will never stop backing the blue? When did he start? When was the starting of backing the blue, Donald? You've been a criminal your entire life. All you've done is broke the law. And that's why we have some news to break on this show, that 100+ law enforcement officials just endorsed the Harris-Walz ticket in this race, because they know that Donald Trump both doesn't respect the law, that he breaks it himself, but he doesn't respect those who enforce the law, because all he ever cares about is himself. That he's running this race not to support anyone, but to keep himself out of jail. And they understand the hypocrisy of Donald Trump in his message of saying that he backs the blue, a complete lie. They also probably understand the hypocrisy of what he just said right here.
Frankly, so easily. And he was very much into securing the vote. That's why he's the head of the whole. Look, if we can keep the cheating down to a minimum, because these people cheat. They cheat like hell. If we can keep it down to a minimum, we win easily. If we had, let's say, a beautiful vote counter, an honest person comes down from on high to count the votes, we win. I could stop campaigning. I could tell Michael and Laura, I don't have to come anywhere anymore. I'm just going to relax, but we have to win, you know. Too big to rig is the statement we use.
This is something that we've seen Trump say more and more lately, and of course, the media isn't covering it. We saw him in an interview with Dr. Phil say that if Jesus counted the votes, he'd win California. Really? And okay, let's get this straight. It's an absurd statement to make for him to say any of these things, to say the no cheating. It's ridiculous. But also, why isn't the media covering the fact that this is the third election in a row after the attempted coup of Donald Trump that he has been sowing doubt about our elections before they even happen? Saying, oh, yes, there's going to be cheating. We have to work to prevent the cheating. We have to win by more so they can't cheat us out of it. Why is this not being covered? I don't understand it. He has already told us what he wants to do. He's already laying out a plan. The only person I've really seen cover this in a significant way is Rachel Maddow, saying that Donald Trump doesn't even care about winning this election by votes anymore, that he is trying to come up with an alternative plan. But we need this to be called out. It's just ridiculous if it's not. And another thing of Trump's that needs to be called out comes right here.
You know, everyone's always talking about these terrible countries to live in, that regime and this or that. But those countries don't have crime like we do, not even close.
I feel like for a long time, it was just built in to the Republican messaging framework that they'd say that Democrats hate America because we wanted to improve it, because we wanted to make it more equitable, because we wanted to protect people and give more rights instead of strip them away. They said we hated America. But Donald Trump actually does seem to hate America. He's saying that countries with terrible crime were worse than them, were actually the terrible country. First of all, Donald, I think a large portion of the crime in this country comes from you. So there's that. You're a big slice of the crime pie. So I don't even know how you can start to make that argument. But we see all of these attacks on America from Donald Trump and really MAGA at large. And the one that comes to my mind just right away is Donald Trump cheering for a recession. We always see him say, and Republicans say, when we saw that little dip in the stock market, which just popped right back up, oh, we're going to have a recession. The economy is collapsing. It's almost like they're cheering it on. It's what they want to happen. They want to see our country fail. They want to see the economy fail just out of their own political gain. That's hating America, attacking our institutions, attacking our democracy, attacking the rule of law. That's hating America. And this threat to democracy, rambling attack, lies that Donald Trump continues to push, came out in a really weird way right here.
She was vice president that nobody knew. She shouldn't have been vice president. If they call threat to democracy. She's a threat to democracy. The way they call me a threat. I take a bullet in the head, and I'm a threat. No. She's a threat to democracy. Think of it. But
we've talked a lot about the projection of Donald Trump. And of course, him saying that Kamala Harris is the big threat to democracy, and it's not him. He said it's because he got shot that he's not a threat. I don't really know what dots he's connecting there. But there was a subtle little bit of racism that I detected right there in what Donald Trump said. He said that Kamala Harris should have never been allowed to become vice president. And I wonder why. I wonder why he's saying that. My mind jumps immediately to the fact that he doesn't think that she should be allowed to be vice president because he thinks she's a DEI hire, even though she has been elected to more offices than him, served in public office longer than him, and J.D. Vance combined, by the way. But I feel like that's not talked about enough. And so I just wanted to bring it up. Of course, this doesn't get under the skin of Kamala Harris, but I think we should always call out Donald Trump's racism when we can. And we should also call out his ridiculousness when we can. And we're going to do that after this clip right here.
And I say, if I ever hit that kind of a condition, and hopefully it won't happen for a long time, the last thing I'm going to want to do is be sleeping with cameras all over the place taking your picture. I don't want to be sleeping in public.
If we can quickly just connect some dots here from earlier. Donald, you said that you back the blue and that you support law and order. Not true. You're a felon. But I remember in that case, you were in court and you were taking a snooze. Again, he is just so separated from his own reality of what an embarrassment he actually is that he forgot that he was very publicly, very famously asleep in court. I love taking a nap on the beach. No shame in that. Taking a nap in court, I don't think that's as cool and comfortable. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Not as good of a look. Not great. Not great for the felon. And we're going to keep calling out that felon on this show. And if you want to support us, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And If you stuck around to the end, go ahead and drop a blue heart in the comments so I can thank you for your support. And until next time, I'll see you soon.